How are you doing today? Welcome to a brand new poker video. My name is Andreas Fröhlich. In today's episode, I'm going to review the 10-10-20 pot limit Omar cash game hands that happened in Rozvadov. Played with a pretty strong table, to say the least. We got none other than Jnandez, Danfiu and Fabian playing on the same 10-10-20 table. And I think everyone's trying to play their best. And I'm going to have a look at some of the hands that I played.
Taken 230. I don't even play one hand the last two levels. 70. 8 plus. One call. 2 plus. 3 plus. 4 plus.
That's not the hand you want to look down at when you're in the straddle. 9-7-7-7.
Maybe after.
Okay. I call you only to win the pick.
Okay. Alright, if you win the pot, you get it for 5 minutes. Give you some extra incentives.
And Andreas almost jumping out of his seat there. Take a look at that flop. He flops top pair, gut shot, and king high spades. The talk with 8 high spades. Shouldn't be sticking around for too long, but you never know. It does flick in the call. Drawing pretty thin here.
After a raise from somewhat early positioning at one call caller, we play a single raise pot out of position on king 9-3 with 2 spades. In general, it's a good idea to start checking here. Why? Because the call caller usually has a lot of broader pairs, including kings, and the out of position player will miss the board somewhat often. However, I do think variables are a little bit different here in this situation. I like to start building a pot with a pretty decent hand and also still getting some light floats, which eventually happens as our opponent calls with the 8 high flush draw.
And the deuce of hearts on the turn now gives him 3 clean outs. Any non-spade 5 would give him the nut straight.
I quit like 2:30 in the morning. Okay. But that was like still, but I was so tired. Still good game. Yeah, it was like, but everyone was tired and the action player left. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. There's always a new day, so yeah.
Now on the turn, because I narrowed down my opponent's range already a little bit by him calling the flop, I don't think I can continue building a pot or betting for value here, because if I bet again, I think I'm going to get called by better top pairs or 2 pairs. And then also, because I have so many spades myself, the draw set will continue on the turn, especially against a bigger bet size, wouldn't be that many, and therefore I'd rather go for a check call here.
I was waiting for the televised game, but it didn't start yesterday. I decided to grind the gin tonic instead.
To grind the gin tonic?
There it is, the 5 of hearts on the river. Gives the talk the nuts. Who said poker's hard, chat, hey?
Although I don't do it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Who said poker is hard?
I won the pick. Put 250 on the pick. I accept it.
I'm a really bad bluff catcher, so...
On the river, we have no other option but to check here, and then our opponent quickly bets 500 on the bigger end, and we do have to decide whether we bluff catch here. And here I even announced it on the stream as well, I have a really bad bluff catcher, because not only do I have spades, but I also have straight blockers that our opponent could think about just bluffing, having a busted draw. Also, if he has a floating hand that now picked up some outs on the turn, something like, I don't know, ace 4 5 6 with like the diamonds, if or even low spades like he does have, then 4 6 and ace 4 both is making a wheel. And I think calling the flop, betting the turn, and then betting the river, he still have to be somewhat creative to come up with a bluff given my whole cards. And yeah, also seemed a little bit happy overall about the hand. I didn't think he was really bluffing in that particular moment, and I do decide to let this one go.
Ooh, that's too much.
You see
Too
my
high of a
cards?
strategy.
You see my cards? You talk about my bluff?
Too much stress.
No strategy at the table, say the rest of the players. And the rest of the players are like, all right, the talk. You keep making calls like that. Please, it's good for the game.
He led and I just called. Okay. Or and I just called. Yeah. 8-4. And I can't call the river. So at some point I got a raise. I just called.
Weißt du, was das Schlimme ist? Wenn dir das scheißegal ist, wenn du verlierst.
Das ist nicht so gut.
Ich war mir zu 99% sicher, was er gewinnt. Aber ich wollte dann auch nicht als Dummkopf da sitzen von mir selber, wenn er mich geblufft
I
hat.
also would love to do it now.
Nicht zu verteidigen. Wir machen alle mal.
The nice games are better for me. But if it wasn't about money, it's just what I want to do and what I enjoy doing, I would be streaming. Yeah. And just play occasionally live, like live picks and so on.
Aber
But yeah.
zwei Neunliegen und zwei Damenliegen.
Das birgt natürlich viele Voraussetzungen.
In hand number 9, we got a great hand from the cutoff, ace 10, 10, 9 double suited, and get called by Elon on the button and Jnandez in the straddle position. The board comes ace 8 deuce, with the ace not being in the suit of the two others, which means that both my opponents can still have the nut flush draw and have some pretty strong continues versus a bet here. This is also why I dislike my c-bet here. I wish I bet a little bit smaller than I did, because that would allow my opponents to continue with some weaker hands. Whereas now, if I bet like something like half pot, which I did, it means that both my opponents will, mainly have stronger mate hands and draws, and that is obviously not good, especially if the in-position player continues.
I announced that I'm about to stream every week, once or twice, and after I announced that, I never streamed again.
Hätte ich auf jeden Fall weggeworfen.
Yeah.
8 race, 425.
Wenn du Check Call gespielt, gar nicht selber gesetzt?
Nein.
Wenn er setzt,
Aber egal, ich hätte den so, wo ich war, vielleicht dachte.
That reliable, so
that's
not a good thing.
we have a bad image now.
Yeah, bad image. It's like at the table. They don't believe what I'm telling.
Als er mir nicht angeguckt hat, wusste ich, er hätte wegwerfen müssen.
Now Elon raises it up to 425, and now with my hand I'm a little bit in trouble here, because a lot of the times he will have the nut flush draw and my 10-eye flush draw is no longer good. However, he puts in a smaller raise to 425, and I think I've got just a little bit too much going on that I can no longer fold this hand and have to continue, given the price that I'm offered.
Pack's ab, nächste Hand.
Him is saying, who is the Talk character and why haven't we seen him before? Question mark. The Talk is an absolute legend amongst these parts.
Ich habe mich selber geschlagen.
Okay, yeah. You can register, I think, at the
What an interesting turn card. Andreas turns a set. He was already in front with his ace-10. And Alon has gut shot and the nut flush draw.
1-2 is running every day, it's better.
Yeah. It would be nice to win.
Andreas in great shape, blocking the flush. Needs to avoid a 3 and a club. And he does. 9 of hearts on the river. I believe they're running it 2 times by the looks of things. Saying that Alon won that, he did not. And he didn't win that one either. So 2 for 2 for Andreas. I don't know why it's saying he's bust. He just won a €3,325 pot. I was saying, Henry, want to take a bet on the Premier League games today? Nah, I don't do sports betting, dude.
I get the pick back. Wenn ein der Teufel reitet, verstehst du? Nee, ich meine im Turnier.
8-mal drin oder was? Nein, gar nicht.
Er wollte schon am ersten Tag dreimal spielen, aber dann hat er erfahren, dass er nur dreimal insgesamt spielen kann und nicht dreimal pro Tag.
Ich habe ja den dritten.
Er hat den Stack wieder zurück, er hat schon Stack stehen, hat er wieder zurückgehen lassen.
Ja, weil ich nicht wusste. Ich dachte 3 pro Tag.
Ehrlich?
Ja.
Und jetzt? Machst du jetzt? Bis
Nee,
heute?
ich spiele heute, ja.
Danfiu, it's
In hand number 12, we got ace and 9-6 single suited with a nut suit, and we open it +1, get called by, again, the talk, who has been pretty loose in the beginning of this session, and then Danfiu is squeezing it to 350. Now I think against Danfiu, if he just had been 3-betting, or just called a 3-bet, but here the hijack makes things a little bit worse in general, because you will end up in a rather short or small SPR situation with a marginal holding 3-way, and you know, having one player behind on the flop is usually not a good thing. However, I do think that the loose range of the hijack here makes my situation much better, and I thought that I'm gonna still have to call here.
been bluffing in a few spots. Actually woke up with a legit hand here. 3 bets out of the big
Easy
blind.
decision.
King, king, jack,
Schon die
10
80
double
so
suited. Andres makes the call, and the
Easy,
talk's
this
going to
is
get
your
out of the
time to move
way. Questionable hand to be calling with
Also,
from
danke.
Andres.
I mean, me.
Jnandez would agree, but it looks like he's out-flopped.
So it's around like 2 point something.
Danfiu. No backdoor clubs, no backdoor diamonds.
Ich habe letzte Woche schon
Only
online.
aggression
Habe ich das 35 Jahr mitgespielt.
is going to work in his favor.
Ich waren 178 Spieler, die letzten 30 waren immer 30. Bin einen Platz und war dann immer näher gekommen. Dann waren die letzten 3, dann war ich plötzlich Erster.
Danfiu bets about half pot on the ace-7-5 2 hearts board, and he might be doing this with his entire range, also given the holding that we can see here. I do have top pair in the gut shot and have to continue, of course, and we head over to the turn.
Eine Hand war nicht gehalten, ja. Dann war ich wieder Zweiter. Naja, und dann hat die zweite Hand nicht
I
gehalten.
think as played, Andres has to call at least one street here.
Pokerstars, 35, ja.
Obviously blocking aces.
Und Samstag davor habe ich habe 2 Turniere gespielt, nur PLO, ich spiele nur PLO online, weil ich ein bisschen Spaß haben will.
Does
Dann
make
habe ich einen
the
dritten
call.
gemacht. Paar Monate.
1600 euros in the middle.
Vorbereitung.
Let's see a
Und
turn
hier ist alles
card.
schiefgegangen.
The 6 of diamonds.
Ich bin Turnierspieler. Ich bin Turnierspieler. Ich liebe das.
So Andres now beating
Muss sitzen, muss
ace, king,
konzentriert
queen,
sein.
jack.
Aber weiß ich nicht. Ich
Ace,
habe irgendwann
king
meine Linie
in general.
verloren gestern. Und dann
Turn
habe ich nur
2
noch
pair.
Hast du mal zu viel geredet oder was?
Nee, diesmal nicht. Und geht es? Ich kann gar nicht so gut reden. Ich habe gerade gebucht heute. Also ich habe letzte Woche schon die Flüge gebucht.
Oresto in the chat.
Also ich jetzt gerade.
And I'm here watching from the sideline.
On the turn, which is the 6 of diamonds, obviously we have a great hand with 2 pair and the gut shot. And the question here is now, do we just put the money in and basically deny the most equity possible, because the SPR is on the lower end at this point. On the other hand, we could also bet small and then also have a non-committing bet that way with our hand. And I think it still needs a bunch of protection, especially because, for example, the 7 makes, you know, any better ace a better hand, and getting a little bit of protection here with my top 3rd pair I thought was pretty decent.
Ich war jetzt dreimal da und ein paar andere Freunde, das muss das sage ich dir, das ist gut aus. Der ist top.
Chat, what do we think? Should Oresto come and join me in the commentary booth?
Welches?
That's what I think Oresto should be doing right now, instead of sitting there on the rail.
Ich habe mir meine Badehose gepatzt vom Jetschi gekauft unter dem
Von was?
Vom Jetschi. Ist mir meine Badehose so.
Am Arsch oder?
Oresto said lol, along came over to the stream and said fuck my life. What, after folding that hand? That's brilliant. What a meme.
Meine Kunde schon wieder raus.
And that says, I'm not your dude, friend.
Ich glaube, ich habe mein Geld wieder raus. Fand ich spannend. Passt, ja. Ich habe vorhin ein paar gute Sachen gemacht.
Hey, I'm not your friend, buddy.
Das ist schon wieder zurück.
Ohne Spaß, ich spiele nur.
Queen 8-6, 2 clubs. Bottom pair and an open-ended straight draw for August. Bottom pair and an open-ended straight draw for Danfiu. Middle set for Andreas and the nut flush draw for Alon. Limit says, I vote Arresto onto the stream. I agree, chat. I agree.
One orbit later, we pick up Queen Jack 8-8 double suited in one position earlier than before, and we got 3 callers. But on the flop, we see a Queen 8-6 middle set, a backdoor flush draw, and also a top set blocker. And I went ahead and c-bet here, just because I got a great hand when start building a pot. On the bigger end, of course, as well, because we got 3 opponents and only 1 player left to act, which could check behind here.
Ich will einfach die Action. Das ist mein intellektueller Ausgleich. Ja,
I really wish I could jump to this stream. It'd be so fun.
Ich habe mein erstes Live-Turnier mitgespielt in Barcelona.
We should have streamed our home game the other night. Or our private game.
In Berlin 12. gemacht und San Remo 2. gemacht.
In welcher Branche bist du tätig?
Was?
In welcher Branche bist du tätig?
Ich bin im Handel tätig.
Handel tätig?
Ja. Ich habe eine Einkaufsgemeinschaft. Ich will jetzt nicht am Telefon.
Ah, ja, klar,
so viel. Ebenwert.
The turn is the 5 of diamonds, completing some straights, and Aeon definitely has a good continuing hand here, given that he called versus a 4-way c-bet on the flop. Now I also blocked some of my boat out, so I might have some troubles calling like a really big sizing, and definitely do not want to bet fold a hand as strong as this with some boating rivers, so I could check and then see what my opponent is doing.
Das ist einfach nur Fun. Also für alle hier ist wahrscheinlich Fun, aber einige leben ja auch davon. Deswegen ist das auch gut für die anderen. Für mich ist es einfach nur Spaß.
Eine Komponente.
Ja. Ich finde, Poker ist toller Sport zur Schärfung der Sinne. Du musst Ausdauer, Mathematik, Psychologie.
Und ist was sozial.
Ja, top. Finde ich gut.
River is not the greatest card in particular. It's a deuce of clubs, completing the flush, so a pretty bad card for me. I check, and then my opponent goes and bets 525, also, you know, like 2/3, and I have to make a decision whether I bluff catch or not. He could certainly have some bluffs, but he has to be somewhat creative. Also because I do block one of the jacks, I do block the backdoor flush draws, so he's not gonna have so many lighter continues on the flop given my exact hand. I block a lot of the made hands as well, and obviously I have no club in my hand, and yeah, therefore I went for the jack fold.
Ich habe erst online angefangen, ein halbes Jahr. Habe 4-mal dann in Nähe gespielt, habe einmal 4 und einmal 6 gemacht. Ja. Und dann habe ich also mein beruflicher Werdegang, also das, was ich eben, meine Tätigkeit, habe ich wirklich dazu
Wie denn?
Na, ganz einfach, beurteilen von anderen Menschen.
Ja.
Zum Beispiel.
Aber online ist das so.
Online ist Mathematik, mir nicht.
Genau.
Ich habe sogar online schon gestanden, dass manche folgen. Ich habe geschrieben, besser, wenn du jetzt faul bist. I don't do that.
Hang on.
Now I want to ask you, how do you enjoy this review of my 10-10-20 PLO session in Rozvadov? Let me know in the comment section below. And also don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more content. Thanks for watching.